Hi everyone. On this video I'm going to teach you about multiplying and dividing fractions. On the first example you can see that we don't have any common factors. If we did, then we would have to factor some before we multiply. If you notice up above, when you multiply fractions you take the numerators and multiply them and then multiply the denominators. So on this I'm going to take 7 times 3 and 11 times 5 in the denominator. It doesn't simplify because nothing simplified in the first place. On the second one, we're going to divide. Now notice when we divide, we have to rewrite it as multiplication, and we take the fraction that follows the division symbol and we write it as a reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1/2 would be 2 over 1. Basically, you just flip it. So we take 7/12 times 2 over 1. You could also just write that as 2. Now this time we do have something that simplifies. Notice 2 goes and 12 both have a common factor of 2. So I'm going to factor out a 2 for the 2, and a 2 on the 12 leaves me 6. So in the numerator I have 7 times 1. In the denominator I have 6 times 1. So that's the fraction 7/6. Alright, so on this one I'm just going to simply factor everything that I can and write this as one fraction. So that's the 3 stays. I'm going to factor 10 as 2 times 5. 35 is 5 times 7. 63 is 7 times 9. And then I'm going to go ahead and factor 9 as 3 times 3. Now, you may not be able to do that quite so quickly, but I factored the numerator and the denominator into primes so I could find what was in common. So notice that we have a 3 in the numerator and denominator, so that equals 1. We have a 5 in the numerator and the denominator, so that's all we could simplify. In the numerator, all I have left is 2 times 1. In the denominator, I have 7 times 7 times 3. Which I don't know what that is. And we end up with, oh, that's not right, 147. And that's as much as we can simplify that. So we're finished. Notice 147 is an odd number and is not divisible by 2. So when we divide, we always have to rewrite this as multiplication times the reciprocal, right? This number is the one that becomes the reciprocal. So notice we do have a common factor with 4 and 12. And so now I have 9. 1 times 7 is 7. And that's as much as we can simplify that one. So that's the end of multiplying and dividing fractions.